For my second example, for the next stage of our journey, I'd like to talk about people. I was in Ottawa recently. There's a lot of talk about economic growth and where the next budget will go and the government's plans on innovation. And I was at a conference that was focused on growing Canada's economy. One of the speakers was the National Chief of the Assembly of First Nations, Chief Perry Bellegarde. And Chief Bellegarde reminded the audience that inclusive growth is not just a moral imperative, it's also good business. He talked about the latent talent and capacity in the Indigenous communities in our country that have the youngest and fastest growing populations in Canada. But what struck me most in his comments was the success story he shared. It was the success story of a Canadian Indigenous community that is leading the way, nationally and internationally, when it comes to economic and social development. That community is Membertou. Membertou, the Cape Breton Mi'kmaq community that has diversified into commercial fishing, into convention hosting, into data services, and tourism. What can we learn as we think about partnerships? What can we learn from what's happening at Membertou? Well, to that end, I'm very pleased to invite Mary Beth Doucette. Mary Beth is the Purdy Crawford Chair in Aboriginal Business Studies at Cape Breton University's Unama'ki College. Mary Beth, please join us to share some insights from Membertou.
So I'm really happy to be able to be here to talk about my community of Membertou. Before I start talking about all the great things that are happening in Membertou, I think we have a video so you can see it for yourself in case you haven't been to Cape Breton recently.
Located on beautiful Cape Breton Island, Membertou sits just 3 kilometers from downtown Sydney, Nova Scotia, and is accessible via Nova Scotia Highway 125, exit 7A. Its present success was built over the past 15 years through strong financial and administrative objectives and strategic partnerships with local and national organizations. Fast-paced business development, accessibility to financial assistance, and strong leadership are the fundamental factors of Membertou's success. Membertou Development Corporation currently owns 180 acres of land on the south side of Highway 125, exit 7A, which will soon be the home of a light commercial development area. Churchill Crossing will be the Cape Breton Regional Municipality's most innovative and unique shops and services district. Membertou Development Corporation specializes in many industries and has successfully completed projects in these fields. There are a number of significant advantages Membertou offers when considering expanding or relocating a business. The community is always progressing, ensuring a growing number of customers and an available workforce. Membertou is undoubtedly welcoming the world.
So I will tell you a few facts, a little bit about Membertou, and then I'll talk about Membertou and CBU. So Membertou is the 3rd largest employer in the Cape Breton Regional Municipality, has an annual operating budget of more than $55 million. It employs more than 650 people and paid $1.8 million in taxes to the CBRM last year. They also donate more than $1 million to local charities every year. So Membertou's strategy is essentially a model. So we're doing some good things. And Membertou's strategy is essentially a model of transparent governance, a commitment to education, a commitment to health and wellness in the community, and a vision for growth through partnership. And I'm one example of that partnership. I work for the Purdy Crawford Chair in Aboriginal Business Studies at Cape Breton University. And Membertou and CBU signed an MOU years ago that demonstrated their commitment to education for young people. And so we have an advisory board in the Shannon School of Business at CBU, where Purdy Crawford, the late Purdy Crawford, asked Chief Terry Paul what we could do as an institution to better support the Mi'kmaq community. And Chief Paul said this: help us educate more of our Mi'kmaq community to manage and run businesses, but also help us to teach future business leaders, Mi'kmaq or otherwise, about the potential and the reality of Aboriginal business in Canada. So 4 years ago, I left Membertou to work at CBU with the Purdy Crawford Chair to co-manage it And what we do is mentor high school students, and we also support post-secondary business students who are Aboriginal through research and development of curriculum material, and we try and demonstrate Aboriginal success from across the country, and we try and make that accessible to the universities across the country. And so standing here today, as business leaders, I'm often asking, like, what can we do? And, excuse me. And so I would say, feel comfortable when you ask questions about Mi'kmaq culture. So learn about Mi'kmaq culture and history. One way to do that is to watch MIKM 2701, which is an online course learning from knowledge keepers of Mi'kma'ki that some of you may have heard about. We piloted it last January, last winter, and it's an open access course that you can get online. It's still available in its current form, but we're also hoping to repackage it and make it more consumable to a broader set of audiences and different audiences. I also encourage you to seek out opportunities to work with the Mi'kmaq community, as well as other First Nations and other Aboriginal organizations, to set goals and create plans. In Nova Scotia, there are 13 communities, each developing projects unique to their area, whether it's wind farm development, hydroelectric, natural resources, ecological knowledge surveys, data management, construction, and the list goes on and on. So thank you very much, Willallen, and I'll toss it back to you.
Thank you so much. Well, Alan, Mary Beth, I was so inspired to meet you at CBU earlier this fall, and I was inspired to see you on the stage here at Halifax again. So thank you for the work that you do. It's wonderful. Membertou is truly showing us the way. It's showing what is possible when we work across those traditional boundaries, when we work across universities, when we work across Indigenous and settler communities, when we work across the public and private sector, and when we work across provinces. There's no question in my mind that a more prosperous Canada and a more prosperous Nova Scotia will be built upon a foundation of partnerships that support an economy in which everyone has a place. Look what we can do when that we includes all of us.